What's up everyone, my name is Nick. I live in Kuching, a very cool city in Malaysia's largest state, Sarawak. And I've lived here for about 11 years, and even though I'm at home today because I'm babysitting my son Milo, I'd like to tell you about the top 10 must-dos here in Sarawak. Alright, without any further ado, let's just get this video started. Here we go, this is Global Gibbon. Alright, let's start with probably the most unique experience that you could have in your life, or at least when you visit Sarawak. Did you know that there are over 200 different types of monkeys in the world, but there are only a handful of apes in the world? The orangutan are great apes, and they're not monkeys. I'd like to make that very clear. And you can find orangutan here in the forests of Sarawak. So number 1 on this list of top 10 must-dos when visiting Sarawak is visit the orangutans. Unfortunately, there aren't many orangutan left in the world, but Sarawak does have quite a decent number. And the best way of seeing these orangutan is to visit the Semango Wildlife Center, which is about 45 minutes from Kuching. Now, if you want to have an even better experience, I advise you to go deep into the jungle to an area called Batang Ai, and over there are hundreds of really wild orangutan that still live there, and by doing a really cool hike of about 5 days you might actually spot these orangutan in their natural habitat. So definitely come to Sarawak and see the orangutan. Anthony Bourdain once said that there is one particular dish in the world that might be the best breakfast in the world. And Anthony Bourdain, having traveled extensively throughout the world, trying all these different types of food, making a statement like that, and that is a big statement. So Anthony Bourdain actually made that statement while he was here in Kuching, and he was eating the famous Sarawak Laksa. He even called it the breakfast of the gods. So number 2 on this list of must-do things in Sarawak is have a bowl of laksa. Because if you want to feel like a god, well, maybe the Sarawak Laksa can take you there. It is a spicy noodle dish with prawns, chickens, bean sprouts, and a local belacan, which is a spicy sambal. It's really a really nice dish. Alright, have you ever visited caves? I have seen many caves in my lifetime, and honestly, I think if you've seen one cave, you've kind of seen most caves. This was pretty true until I visited the caves in northern Sarawak at the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Mulu National Park. Did you know that the largest cave system in the world is actually located in Sarawak, in Mulu National Park? And if that is not impressive enough, there are numerous other caves. There are underwater caves. You can hike jungles there. You can swim in clear rivers. It is really a beautiful place to visit, Mulu National Park. More than 80% of Malaysia's largest state, Sarawak, is covered in forest. This includes primary forest, secondary forest, and many other types of thick jungle. So this means that within minutes from any larger city, you'll find yourself surrounded by beautiful trees, thick rainforest, jungle streams, and yes, there's just so much forest here in Sarawak. So therefore, it is only fitting that number 4 on this list of things you must do in Sarawak is to hike the forests here, the rainforest, and to visit waterfalls, and of course to swim in beautiful waterfalls. There really are hundreds of waterfalls in the whole state. For example, the Julan waterfall, which I believe is the tallest waterfall in all of Malaysia at about 300 meters. When you stand at the base of that waterfall, you're literally in awe. You don't know what to say. Another beautiful waterfall and a very impressive waterfall is the Jangkar waterfall, which is about 2 hours from Kuching here. And then one of my favorite waterfalls, perhaps the most beautiful waterfall I've ever been to in my whole life, are the Three Sisters waterfall near Longhouse in the deep interior of Sarawak. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Who doesn't like to have a good time? If you're not visiting national parks, swimming at waterfalls, or eating Sarawak Laksa, you should meet the locals and have a drink with them. This could be rice wine, palm wine called hijok, or even an affordable beer in the city. This is why I thought it was important to put this as number 5 on the list of things you must do when you visit Sarawak, which is to have a drink with a local who calls Sarawak their home. Because the locals are so kind and friendly here, and they love sharing their experiences, their knowledge about the state, and their relaxed lifestyle. Now, if you don't like alcohol or if you don't drink alcohol, that is not a problem. There are so many types of other drinks here, like teh tarik, and really, there are so many different fresh juices here and other non-alcoholic drinks as well. So one of the best memories I have of my time here in Sarawak is hearing the local music, specifically the Sapeh instrument. This is a giant lute that is played by the local tribes here. And when you hear this music, it takes you to another level. It's a whole different level of music. So if you're smart enough to visit Sarawak and you want to follow my list of top 10 things you must do in Sarawak, follow this one. Go to Sarawak, obviously, and find a place or a location where you can listen to a live performance of someone playing the sapeh. There is actually a huge event here every year called the World Rainforest Festival, or the Rainforest World Music Festival, and it is held once a year. It is a 3-day event with beautiful music from musicians all over the world, and the best experience to listen to this sapeh music with its magical sound is when you are there at this venue, which is located between the mountain Santubong and the South China Sea, and the whole place is already magical, and then you're listening to this magical music. Yes, definitely something you must do when you visit Sarawak. Did you know that Kuching, the capital of Sarawak, is home to over 500,000 people? Now that sounds like a lot of people, but Kuching, it really feels like a small town. The people here are so relaxed, and yeah, they take things very easy. So, if you are visiting Sarawak and therefore the capital Kuching, I highly suggest you to go for a relaxed stroll through the city, visit these museums, these temples, eat the delicious food that you can find at every street corner. And I've walked through the city probably 1,000 times myself, and every time I walk through the city, I see something different. So, as many times as you walk through the city, there's always something unique and something new to see. Earlier on, I mentioned that there is so much rainforest here in Sarawak. Trees and rivers are not the only thing that exists in these jungles. There is also an abundance of wildlife in these forests. So number 8 on this list of top 10 things that you must do when you visit Sarawak is explore more wildlife. Sarawak is home to some very unique animals like the slow loris, the orang belanda, which is literally translated from the local language, and it means the Dutchman, which is me, because they have big bellies and big noses like me. And there are mouse deer here, there are sun bears, so really there is such an abundance of wildlife in the forests here in Sarawak. What is a more happening place than a market? Sarawak has many markets. There are markets in the cities, in the villages. So number 9 on this list of things that you must do when you visit Sarawak is visit a market. You can find so many different types of products at these Sarawakian markets. From handicraft to local sambals, from salted fish to live chickens. And if you know where to look, you might even find one of the local delicacies here, the sago worms. These are fat worms that the locals like to eat alive. Many decades ago, Sarawak was inhabited by the fierce headhunters. These tribes would cut off people's heads during war and keep the heads of their enemies as trophies. Nowadays, this is not practiced anymore, and the people that used to headhunt are actually some of the nicest people in the state. So, number 10 on my list of things you must do when you visit Sarawak is visit the tribe who used to be headhunters. They live in traditional longhouses, and if you want to visit these friendly people, I highly suggest you book a tour with a local tour operator and spend a night with the Iban tribe, the tribe that used to hunt for heads. Actually, I could just go on and on for hours and tell you about all these amazing things that Sarawak has to offer for you to do, for you to see, but I didn't want to make this a 1 hour long video. Now this is the end of the video. The only thing you still have to do is click that like button and leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. That's it. This is the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. You guys are amazing. We'll see you again next week. All right, that's it. Bye-bye.